I'm Thenuka Fernando from St. Joseph's College, Maradana. Most of it will be inappropriate, but I'd go with, my friends used to call me Tortilla. So Tortilla is singular for Osman, which is a row, since I did rowing. And I used to have this baby face, so my friends always used to call me Baba. So they generally refer to me as Baba. The proudest achievement of my school life would probably be Nationals in 2020. That was in March 2020, which was just before my A-levels. And we rowed in the intermediate category, which was against the Army and the KDU. And we were able to place second, beating KDU. That was a great feat. And if I had to choose another one, it would be getting the Sergeant at Arms position in the interact club of our school, which is an executive committee position. The saddest moment for anyone would obviously be the day they leave school, but apart from that, the day that I properly broke down in school was the time we lost Shakes in 2019. Since Shakespeare drama competition in 2019, since that was one of the hardest things I've ever worked for. We'd spend around 4 months practicing for it day in and day night. So we'd come to school at around 4, we come to school at 6 in the morning for school. And then we'll stay in school till 12, 1, 2 in the morning, just practicing. And to go through all that, making props and to eventually lose where the end result wasn't beneficial, that just broke all of us. Coming third, we got into finals, but we came third. After such an effort, that was the biggest loss I've ever felt in my school career. The embarrassing experience, it's hard to say because I was like the class clown in my class. So pretty much all my experience was embarrassing because I always had all these teachers breathing down on me and making fun because like I'd always crack a joke or piss a teacher off. I was always the first kid in class to get scolded or get slapped by a teacher, and like I'd normally bunk class and go out and come back and get backed from another EV section. I mean, overall it was embarrassing, but looking back on it, those were what made my school life so special to me. So first and foremost, I was a rower for a little long time, and apart from that, I was in the interact club from grade 6, and I ended my interact career as the Sergeant at Arms of my club. I was also a part of the Shakes cast in 2019, where we got to finals. So I'm very grateful to my extracurricular activities. It is what made me who I am today. All the abilities and all the skills that I've inculcated through my life was mainly due to my extracurriculars and obviously my school. So all the activities I did were all teamwork. So I did rowing, Shakes and interact. It taught me to be a part of something bigger than myself. I mean, not to focus on just my studies, like to focus on other people, to focus on my team, to focus on what matters. Winning, losing, accepting defeat, and boasting victory without boasting was a great accomplishment. And I would say it taught me a great deal. I mean, it would be definitely to live in the moment. I mean, you can focus on your studies. There are other things to explore, other avenues to explore. I mean, if you go to a school, you spend approximately 13 years in that school. Why just focus on one thing when your school offers so much? You can be a part of a sport, be part of a club, a society, something greater than yourself. Focus on that, because at the end of the day, when you leave school, you don't want to leave school with regrets. You want to always say, I did that, I did this, and feel accomplished with yourself. One of my biggest regrets in that case is, since I didn't apply for stewardship, I regret not getting it. So I don't want you all to look back and say, in vain, I could have done this, I could have done that. Just studies are important, yes. But learn to balance it. If you can balance your studies and manage everything efficiently, Do something other than that. Be greater. Just strive for greatness. A night owl, definitely. I can never wake up in the morning. So, my friends they are the most fun guys to hang out with. So definitely you cannot study at all, because if you meet up with them, it's just, anything will happen apart from studies. So regardless, I'd study alone, but I always had this group of friends with me that we had this video call every night to do accounts papers and discuss what we don't understand. So we'd every night around 12 until 3 o'clock in the morning, we do accounting papers, and then when we don't understand, we'll teach each other. Not only account, we'll do BS Econ, and it's a bit of both in that sense. Favorite snack while studying. So generally, because I was a night owl, my mom would always wake me up, because I go to practice. When I come back home, I'd sleep the entire day. My mom would wake me up with a cup of coffee, and basically anything that was there in the house, any biscuit packet, any cake or something, whatever is edible. The biggest fear. To have a fear means you're not sure of yourself. So as long as you can maintain a cool head, a cool mind for A-levels. So anyone's biggest fear is whether they'll panic in that moment, or whether they'll forget something they studied. Because the exam pressure, when it gets to you, it gets to you. Like you cannot think. So that was my biggest fear. But I managed to get over it, because even though you can study 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter. That's too excessive, but always make time for you. Make time for something you love doing, so that it eases your head, so that you're not stressed. Always calm down, take a breather, either read a book, draw a picture, play a game, whatever. Just take it easy. Don't rush yourself into anything. If you rush yourself, you push yourself too hard, you'll just end up overworking yourself and you'll get nowhere. Take it easy, balance, and then you can achieve great. To describe the Econ class in one word, it was a mix of things. So if I would say, it was one of the best classes I went to, because Kasun sir was this eccentric person. He was so great. He was so jovial. Like, it made learning fun, because I specifically remember so many equations, because Kasun sir always made it into a rap. So I still remember the government revenue thing. It was tax revenue, non-tax revenue. Tax revenue was direct tax, indirect tax. Non-tax was fees and charges, direct income, something like that. And it was so fun. Like, it made learning fun, and his tunes, his explanations, the drawings, and the fact that he could manage a class of over 500 students and teach them all equally was a great thing to me. If it wasn't for Kasun sir, my Econ and BS would have just gotten messed up. What I just said, it was a jovial class. It was so fun. It was so fun to be a part of. It was the atmosphere in that class, the people I met, all from different schools. You get the variety of people. Like, if you were just to associate people in your own school, you'll just be stuck with the same kind of. I'm not throwing shade at them, but like the variety from girls' schools, from guys' schools, all these people meeting at one place to learn one subject under Kasun sir, who was also really fun. That is what I missed the most. Obviously, as I said before, it was the best class I've ever gone to in my life. I've gone for O-level classes, A-level classes, regardless. I even did maths for A-levels, and I went for maths classes also. Out of all those classes, the best class that I ever came across was the Econ class with Kasun. Even the Econ class and the BS class, both, he makes learning fun, and you feel like learning when you go to his class. Like, you don't feel like slacking off or bunking it, because I generally used to bunk so many classes before I found this class. And this class just kept me there learning, made learning so fun that I just loved it. My role model. It'll obviously be my parents. They are my pillar. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't obviously be here. My dad is actually the person who pushed me to do rowing and all these extracurriculars because he was an old boy, and I used to always hate all my extracurriculars because he was such a pain. Because back then all I wanted to do was have fun with my friends. I wouldn't want to sacrifice my time for something else. But he forced me. Every time I wanted to drop out of something, he'd say, no, you have to do this. And my mother, she was always there for me. She always supported me, no matter what time of the day. If I wanted something, she'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. If I wanted a cup of tea, if I wanted a cup of Nescafe, anything, she'd just wake up. She won't say anything. She'll make it. She'll go back, or she'll just stay up and ask me if I want anything else. My parents are made me who I am. And like, I am able to go out to society and present myself with such confidence. It's because of my parents, because they were the greatest two people that I've ever met in my life. My dream. So I have this thing where I tend to focus on the now more than the future. So I prefer to live my life now than look forward and expect something in my imagination, because the higher my expectations are, the more disappointed I will be. That's something I believe in. So if I see something that I like now, I will pursue it, because I don't want to live my life full of regrets. So if I was to say a dream, my dream would be to look back on my life and be satisfied with it. I don't want to have any regrets. I mean, regrets are a part of life, but the lesser the better. Live in the now. I mean, it's pretty much it. Just live now. It is what it is, and you only live once, basically. Have no regrets.